Hello, hello. Welcome to Media Queen TV. My name is Aldwyn Altuney. We have the amazing Nick Cree with us today and a hot topic for you, simple, easy marketing to make more money. And of course, what could you do with more money? I'm sure you could make a much bigger difference in the world, and you could also be very generous with your money, couldn't you? And you could help your family and your friends, etc. So much you could do with money. Freedom is a great thing on the cards. Now, a little bit about Nick. He is the founder of SmashGo, which he's a digital transformation coach and consultant who works with businesses to embrace the online world to create a more profitable, scalable business in less time, reducing the hours business owners work and increasing enjoyment and satisfaction. He has a penchant for laziness and taking shortcuts to achieve faster and more easily than in traditional business. At university, he had a secretary write his assignments. He started 3 businesses he knew nothing about. He was a national mortgage broking company, became a sought-after speaker in another business, a web development agency, and is rapidly building a 3rd business, a digital transformation consultancy. He has an incredible network of speakers and specialists in his role as the host of the Business Owner Smashing It online weekly webinar series, which is on every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Queensland time. He's been running that ever since 2018, so going for 5 years now. And he loves helping entrepreneurs stop being a slave to the business by getting their business working for them. And today, Nick is here to show you how to create the business you've always dreamed of and beyond. Welcome, Nick.
Pleasure to be here. Wow, what an introduction. I didn't realize I'd done all that sort of stuff. But I have.
Amazing, Nick. You're an absolute trooper. You know, we've seen each other over the last, 15, 20 years or so, it seems. We just keep bumping into each other at different events and absolutely love what you do with business owners smashing it online. And for those joining us, this will be an interactive show today. So if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat as you are watching today. We're going to go for about an hour or so. Whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, wherever you are, welcome, welcome. Let us know, where are you joining us from? Actually, love to hear from you. Where are you joining us from today? Let us know in the comments here. I'm going to chat about all things marketing today. But firstly, a bit of your background, Nick. Now, I know that you have such an amazing background when it comes to technology and with computers, etc. Can you just go right back and share how you started out?
Well, if I go right back, that would be back to 1979, term 1, in the 3rd form at school in Hamilton, New Zealand. And that was where I wrote my first line of code. And it was on, if anyone remembers, a computer called the Sinclair ZX84. And it had a single screen, and you could only write one line of code at a time. And as soon as you went to the next line, that line disappeared, and you had to remember what was there and write your next line of code. So I wrote some fairly basic codes. In fact, it wasn't basic back then as well. And but that was my introduction to it. Oh, actually, I think I had a what do they call it? A Commodore 64 computer before that. So that was in the mid 70s as I was growing up. But yeah, it was really at school. But and since then, that really got my interest in this online and digital world. And I remember when IBM computers came out, the desktop computers, which they said that was going to sit on desk, and they said this is for households. And I remember people saying, no one's going to have one of these at home, and it's really for businesses. And here we are today. We've got these devices we carry around in our pockets, which are more powerful than these big desktop machines that they had that cost. I think it was around about 10 grand, I think, to buy one of these machines. And I remember it was something like a third of a year's wages for me, or salary at the time. I was working for an insurance company at the time, and it was a third of a year's sort of salary. And I was so tempted to buy one. I really wanted one, but I just really couldn't justify it. But so several years later, I got a laptop in, when was that, 1990. So that was early days for laptops. And I remember it was a Korean machine, a Sunrise computer. And the reason why I got that is so that I type my own documents up, and I didn't have to send it off to the typing pool. I could do my own. have to say, though, the typist did get a bit concerned about the fact that I could do my own, because they were thinking, oh, I'm out of a job. What am I going to do? I said, don't worry, there's going to be plenty for you to do. And there was plenty for them to do. They just got sort of more creative jobs in terms of putting together publications that I was putting together. But, I could be on the road with this laptop and typing things. So I did all that. And then mortgage broking company. I had a mortgage broking company for 10 years. And that was where I built my first website. But I wanted to go digital and paperless with that office. And I would say we were the first, I had the first mortgage broking company that took out portable scanners out into the field. So we'd visit clients at home so we could scan their bank statements and documents. So by the time they got back to the office, all the documents were in the computer at the office, and our person who was processing the loans had already started working on it. So, and that was back in the days when they had, what was it, terminal PCs, like it was a Microsoft program. And it was basically cloud computing before cloud computing was a thing. The only thing was the cloud was sitting in my office, not in someone else's office or servers out in the ether, wherever that is. So, I've always been into this technology, and people like Jay Abraham, Stephen Pierce, Rick Sheffrin. So they were people back in the early 2000s who I used to read a lot of Armin Moran, who I think is still around, Yannick Silva, so all these names on the internet that I just was gorging on their material from, through to about 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And, it was back in the early 2000s until I, sold up that mortgage broking business, came here from New Zealand to Australia in 2008 as the GFC hit. Great time to get out of mortgage broking. And so got out of that and then into web development. So I've had a web development agency for, it must be 13 years now. And but these days I spend a lot of my time working with businesses on their online strategy. How do they use these tools in order to, grow their business, save time, and, really make it a more enjoyable existence than sometimes it is.
Wonderful. Yes, I know a lot of my clients say, oh, I'm hopeless with tech. I hate tech. It drives them crazy. However, there's lots of benefits of technology as well. And, thank goodness for this technology right now. We're coming out on StreamYard with this live streaming platform, going to all these different social media channels. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, it's so rapidly changing. And particularly we've seen with artificial intelligence, with ChatGPT, just the last few months, insane what people are doing with artificial intelligence at the moment. Talk about marketing made easy. However, there are some traps to that too, aren't there? So can you share your thoughts on AI?
Well, it's fascinating really to see what's happening. The big buzzword on everybody's lips is ChatGPT, which no one knew about 6 months ago, but all of a sudden everybody knows about this, and it can do everything from write, your ads for Google ads and Facebook ads. It can write code. So I've had it write code for me for a website.
Wow.
And I can do all sorts of things. But I think, it's one of those things that learns from the information that goes in, but it's still as good as the information that goes in it. And one of the things that I've noticed with it is that, and what's missing out of it is critical thinking. So there is bias built into it. And so as you put information in, it's a bit like history, I suppose. All the history books are written from the perspective of those that won the battles, never written from the perspective of those that lost the battles. And I think, this AI space or, ChatGPT is all built on those that have got control of knowledge and information. But there's a whole lot of stuff that's not in there as well too. So you think about critical thinking, then that's not there. You'll only get out of these machines what the information that's able to pull from, but you're never going to get out of it stuff that's not out there. So probably the best example for that, I think, is maybe musicians. So how new genres of music come along. In the 60s it was the Beatles and so Jimi Hendrix and all those things, and that was a whole new style of music that came out.
Yes.
Whether that came out because of drug-induced states or rebellion or whatever it was, but it was a whole change. Now I don't think that artificial intelligence is going to be able to sort of create new genres like that. I think that's where critical thinking, human experience, and changes in behavior, I think we still need that human element, and that's where we're going to get that new stuff. So the challenge with AI, I think, is that yes, we can use it as a tool to do some of the repetitive things, some of the hard things that we struggle with, and use it as a tool for that. So the blank page syndrome. You think, well, I've got to write a blog post every week. What do I write on? ChatGPT is fantastic for that in terms of generating some ideas to help you, in business to do that sort of thing. But the people that are going to really excel in that are the ones that are going to pull out these ideas, and they're going to apply some critical thinking to it and think, well, what is the current perspective on this, or how can I use this in combination with what's happening with our world today? What are people thinking? What are they saying? What are the real issues and problems that they're having that, say, didn't exist to a couple of years ago? How can we layer that on top of some of the information that comes out? So I think if you're an interpreter and a leader in your business space, in society, in business, you can use these tools to help generate some ideas, but you still need to do that critical thinking to do the creative part of it. And interesting enough, that there can get fed back into the artificial intelligence machines to then help it to learn and spin out some of that. But it's still got to come from a human first.
Yes, very interesting. And I've heard that ChatGPT has nothing good to say about Donald Trump. Now, isn't that interesting? I wonder what kind of agendas are running behind the scenes there, right? We've got Bill Gates is invested in ChatGPT. No coincidences there. He's also invested in some very big vaccine companies. But anyway, we won't go there right now, will we? But do your own research, my friends. Okay, do your own research on all that stuff, because Google is not going to tell you the answers, actually. So also look at alternative search engines. Now, DuckDuckGo, I've heard, is quite good. Are there any others you'd recommend, Nick, for people to actually utilize some of this critical thinking for themselves?
Well, yes. Well, DuckDuckGo, interesting enough, even though I'm online all the time, I use DuckDuckGo as my search engine. If I want to find out where the skew and the spin of things are, I use Google, because Google does put a spin on information. They're quite open about it as well too, based on things like your location, based on if you've got a Gmail account, based on the emails you receive and the emails you send. That all influences what you see in the search engines, or the Google search engine. So it's very behavioral. So I use DuckDuckGo. There's another one out there called Brave Browser. So that's another one that's worth looking at. And I think even if you're in some of the browsers like Google Chrome, then it's always good to switch it into incognito or guest mode, so that it doesn't have these cookies and history in there, and that gives you some different searches as well too. You get different results coming up. And I've also got a VPN as well, a virtual private network, which you can buy those online, which means that you can pretend that your computer is somewhere else in the world. And when you do searches like that, then you find, again, different results coming up and different information coming up. So a good use case for that, apart from being able to watch, say, Netflix shows there that we can't get here in Australia. You can sort of see what they're watching over in the US or Europe or New Zealand. So you get different shows there. You can use it for that. But if you're in business and you're wanting to do something like a simple thing like optimizing your website for the search engines, so it reaches the top of the search engines for particular search phrases and terms, often it's good to use a VPN to go to, let's say, United States, which is always a good one, and have a look at what are the top sites that come up in search there that are presented. So what you can then do, this is where you can use ChatGPT as well too, because they are ranking highly. If you replicate that site over in your country, so let's say over in Australia where we are, if you replicate it, then there's a pretty good chance that you will get up to, sort of top positions on Google search, because the algorithm's already said this is top over in US. We don't see it in Australia because it's not relevant over here. But if we do it, if we put it onto an Australian website here, now it is relevant because it's a business here. But what you can do is you can grab the exact content so that you're not using the exact content. You can grab it, you can put it into ChatGPT, and there's an extension that you can use called AIPMR. It's a free extension. They've got a paid version, but there's a free one too. And you can ask it to rewrite the post to improve it for the search engines. So it will rewrite that post for you, and then you can use that rewritten post and use that for your content over here in Australia. So it's unique. So it's not exactly the same. It's got the key phrases in that got it to the top in the US or whatever state it was in the US. And so it's likely to get you up there. But you can use ChatGPT to do something else as well too. There are prompts out there to not only improve it for SEO, but also to have it speak as if you wrote it. So there's a prompt out there that you can feed it your writing style, and it will rewrite it in your writing style as well, yet retain the search sort of optimized part of it to ensure that it is able to get a good result in these search engines as well. So often these technologies, you use them together. You just don't use one, but you think about, how can I use these things together to improve my business or business position?
Oh, I love it. Unbelievable what's coming out now. It's just mind-blowing. And you share some great tech tools every week on Business Owners Smashing It Online, which I absolutely love. And some people call you the app guy. However, there's a lot more to you than just apps and sharing about different technology. You really do help transform people's digital online presence and their businesses through some of this technology and strategy. And recently you launched a Canva course as well with Jenny, which is really cool. We've got Fred here from Melbourne. Welcome, Fred. Good to see you there. Fred's awesome as well. We've interviewed each other actually in the past. Subrata from India, welcome. We've got Jeff here saying, Jeff Phil, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Jeff. Very kind of you. And Jeff says magic mushrooms changed the music. Yes, it could well have been the magic mushrooms. I know there's quite a few of them down in Canberra. We were finding them down there when I was at uni. And don't have too much is my advice. If you do get the magic mushies, they can be very dangerous if you have too much of it. So moving right along. Now, marketing is 80% of anything you do, my friends. 80% of anything you do. And so I love this topic today about how to make marketing easy. And now, what are some simple strategies, simple, easy marketing strategies to make more money, Nick?
Well, I think the first thing is that one of the most common phrases that I hear people say is, look, I'm not very good with the tech stuff, or I'm not very techie. That's a great position to be in. And I think if you change your language from, I'm not very good at this stuff, to saying, oh, I'm not very good at tech, to, look, I'm tech curious. If you change your language to that then all of a sudden, you're not backing off from the tech. You're now telling yourself, oh, let's lean into it and let's find out what it does. Because the reality is you can press some buttons. You're not going to blow up the internet. The world's not going to end. So just try stuff. And that's how I have spent my whole tech career, is just pressing buttons and trying stuff. So to make money, I think the fundamental thing is that tech does not make you money. So people do business with people. Yes. And so despite all the tech, it is still about relationships. So I did a presentation this morning with a networking group this morning, and one of the things was that I asked people how many people had a website. Everybody bar one person in the room put up their hands. They've all got a website. Second question was, how many people have got some form of email capture on their website? So that's, whether it's having a lead magnet as a PDF document that people can download in exchange for their email address, whether it's a mini course or an e-course, whatever it is for people to give you their email address in exchange for it. So about half of the room put up their hands. So about half of those people that got websites have what they call a lead magnet or email capture on it. Third question I asked was, so of those that are capturing those leads, how many people have got an automated follow-up sequence, like an email follow-up sequence, so that when people have downloaded or subscribed to your mini course, download your lead magnet, that you're following them up on a automated, consistent basis with emails going into an inbox. And it ended up to be 2 people in that room. So that had an automated follow-up system. And so then the last question was,
and how many people in the room?
There was 10 people in the room.
Okay.
So 10 people in the room. Yeah. So out of the 10, 2 people had that automated. Okay. So what's that? 20%, which I would think is higher than most businesses, because most businesses in this room were know something about this online space.
Right.
And then I asked the question again, how many people are driving traffic to their website? And the same number of people that put up their hands for having a website were driving traffic, because by sheer virtue of being in a room networking, they all have business cards. They've got their website on their business cards. That there is a method of driving traffic to your website. People will leave. They'll check out website. Check out your website. That's it. So we said 90. So we said virtually 100%. Let's say 100% of people had a website. 100% of people are driving traffic. So both ends of that pendulum. They're doing, but the middle part is, if you're driving traffic to a website where you don't have any form of people to leave an email address, and then you don't have any method of following them up on an automated basis, people are going to forget the website. They won't remember your website URL because they've clicked to it from somewhere. They haven't typed it in, so they're never going to come back again. Well, chances are they'll never come back again. So if you're driving traffic to it and you've got no way of capturing the details, it's a bit like someone coming to your door, knocking on your front door, and you don't answer it. So you wouldn't do that. Or if someone knocks on your front door, you open the door, you say hello, and then you close it again without any conversation. So that's effectively what you're doing if you've got a lead magnet there, or some way for people to leave their email address, but you're not following them up. Or if you don't even have an email capture, it's like never opening that door. So the easiest, simplest way to make money in business is to set up that system there where people come to your website, you offer them something, they give you their email address in exchange, you then follow them up on a systematic basis there, and ideally automatically, because we forget to do these things. And then once you're doing that, then you can drive traffic to it, because now you've got a way of being able to connect with people, to communicate with them. And then once you've got their email address, you can do things like ask them if they'd like to meet with you, or ask them if they're happy to have a phone call with you. And there's all sorts of ways to do that, and that stuff is free at that point. And I think that and it changes the equation as well. So people often, I see, are chasing to get business. So if people are not getting business, there are two things that they do that I hear most commonly in order to pick up the amount of business they're getting. The first thing is they say, I'll go out and make some cold calls. So I asked today how many people in the room enjoy cold calling. One person put up their hand. Right. So there are genuinely some people out there that enjoy cold calling, but there was only one person. Everybody else, no, it's not their sort of thing. The second thing, so if they're not going to cold call, the next thing they do is they go and spend some money on ads. So they'll put money into Facebook ads or Google ads. They're the most common places. Now, if you're spending money on ads to drive people to your website that you don't have a means to capture an email address, or if you capture the email address, you're not following them up, then paying money for ads ads is really just a multiplier of the result that you're getting at the moment. If you are not getting email addresses, running $100 worth of ads is going to multiply that zero result. So 100 times zero is zero. So you're spending it. So now you're spending $100 to get the same result you're getting, spending no money. So that's just stupid, really. So definition of insanity. So at least if you're getting an email address, if you're running ads to your website, where some people will get an email address, at least you're getting an email address. But if you're not following them up, then why are you getting the email address? That there is like opening the door, saying hello, and shutting the door again, not having a conversation. So if you really want to get the maximum results, you need to be having an automatic follow-up sequence there where you are inviting them into the next step of a conversation or a relationship with you, and helping them to solve the issues that they came to your website in the first place for. Only when you've got that system set up would you then consider running ads to your website, because now you've got a predictable result. You know that if you're getting out of every 10 visitors that come to your site, one of those people ends up downloading your lead magnet and leaving their email address. Then if you scale it up to get 100, then you know that now you're going to get sort of 10 people that are going to leave their email address. So you want to be following those up. So, ads amplify what's already happening in your marketing system. But unfortunately, these days, from that survey, most people don't have that marketing system set up. They've got the website, they're driving traffic, they forget about all the bits in the middle. And that's the sort of area that I spend most of my time working with people on.
So important. It's so important. And I must say, I've had a bit of a story that I'm not good with systems, right? And then, someone said, look, it doesn't matter what system you use. It doesn't matter what CRM, customer relationship manager, whatever you use, as long as you use it, right? As long as you use it. And ideally something that works would be good too, right? However, sometimes this perfectionism can come in the way with a lot of business owners particularly. And I know that I've had a little bit of this going on in the past, up until now, of course. From now on, things are shifting. I've just taken on two full-time VAs. I'm so excited about that because, there's way too many people, I think, in business that are, like it says in the E-Myth, that are the technicians, running the whole show. And it's like you don't want to be the soldier in the army. You want to be the captain of the ship, right? Ideally, as a business owner, stay in your lane, stay in your flow. Because as you say, there's people out there that will love doing systems. There's people out there that, love the technology. And, and I think, technology is one of those things that whether you love it or hate it, it's one of these sort of necessary things now that you need to get your head around. And if you think about it, really, computers have only been around 20 odd years, or, and even social media hasn't been that long. So really everyone has been finding their feet with the technology, with the new apps that are coming out. And if you don't stay on top of your game and you don't get on top of this stuff and get all these systems in place, and, keep fine-tuning as you go. Don't let perfectionism get in the way of progress, right? Then you are going to get left behind. Then others who maybe aren't as good as you in your industry are going to be, forging ahead because they've got this kind of stuff sorted. And it also means that you'll be spinning your wheels and you'll be working a lot harder in your business if you don't have these systems set up. So to make that marketing easier, to bring the cash in, I think also it's important to be patient. And we talked a lot about this in the Total Truth Show interview we did with you. We had a great conversation there about not just rushing into bed with people once you meet them on a dating site, right? That you actually want to take your time, right? And it was a very fun show, that one. We won't go into that much detail this time around. However, really it is, it's like you're courting people, you're getting to know them. These relationships are absolutely crucial to build trust, because a lot of people don't know who to trust anymore. And they want to do business with people, not with the business itself as such. It's the people follow people. And so building that personal profile as well, in whatever way you do it, consistently put yourself out there and speak your truth, I think is also incredibly important. So Nick, could you share your opinion on that persistence, that patience, the fortunes in the follow-up, all of that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think one of the things you just mentioned there is take a position. So I often think, be controversial. Don't be scared of, speaking your truth, because what's going to happen is that there are going to be people there that are going to revile against you and say, no, that is not true at all, or no, I don't like that, whatever. As soon as you start hearing that, rejoice in that and be happy that that is happening, because on the other side of that equation, we live in a world where what they call it, where for every reaction there is an equal and opposite reaction. So that's just basic physics. So if you are getting a reaction where people are anti you, on the other side of the equation, you are getting an equal and opposite reaction of people that love what you do. And they will be stronger followers and advocates for you, because if they and you'll find that some of those people will start to defend you and your ideas and what you stand for. And if you're in business and you've got a system, a process, that everyone's always got something that's special, unique about what they do, because we're all individual humans. Like I've just described a system to you in the past few minutes, which is something that I do. And I know that lots and lots of other people in the web world and the online world don't do that. Some of them do it, some of them do it slightly differently, but take your position, work with people on it, and what will happen is people will get results. Those people will become advocates for you. And there are people that are going to say to you, no, that doesn't work. Or they may have even tried it and it hasn't worked either. And so you're not concentrating on the things that don't work. You concentrate on the things that do work and work with those people there. So so speaking your truth, taking a stand is really important, and it's good for business as well too. And so I know some people try and keep things neutral and try and please everyone and appease everyone, but that just ends up as a bland sea of wishy-washiness and nothingness, and your business is going to be the same as all the others that are out there. You want to stand out. One of the principles in business in marketing is you need to stand out. How do you stand out in that sea of sameness? Speak your truth, do something different, stand for something, and really advocate strongly for it. And when I say advocate strongly for it, that means that you're out there marketing it, you're on social media, and you're out there sort of speaking it all the time. And that's one of the things that I do is I speak all the time on social media, and people can't ignore me. So the worst thing out there in marketing is to be ignored. You want to make sure you're not ignored and that you can't be ignored. And I remember last night, was it last night? Yes, I had my show last night, Business Owners Smashing It Online. And the guest that came on said, he said, I just, you're just known for wearing bright shirts and your hair. And I remember that being a conscious choice where, I was told if you go onto a podcast or onto a show, webinar, make sure you wear a single colored shirt, sort of a bland shirt, so it doesn't really stand out, and make sure that, everyone's focusing on what you're saying, not on what you're wearing. So being a contrarian, I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to sort of wear these sort of colorful and bright shirts that probably no one's seen before. And in fact, this shirt here, there's only 25 ever made in this design on this size. So the shirt shop that I go to, they only make 25 in each size. So it's unlikely I'm going to run across anyone else that's got this shirt here. So it is unique and it is different. And because everyone else wears, or men, I'm thinking here, wears some bland colored shirts or the black polo shirt like Steve Jobs, that was the big thing for a while, then but I stand out. But as soon as everybody starts wearing bright colored shirts, because they think, oh, that must be the secret as to why this guy's sort of successful with his online show, and they start doing it, well, I'm going to sort of I might wear sort of a bland colour. So I might take my shirt off altogether, and I'll just sort of be the naked top. So you've got to think of what actually stands out in your marketing and go with that. You want to be remembered for something, and so think about what can you be remembered for, but also be authentic about it as well too. So like I am not uncomfortable wearing shirts like this. If it makes you highly uncomfortable, then don't do it. Do something else. But you need something that's going to fit with your personality. That's really going to make you stand out. And in business today, unless you are running CEO of a large faceless company, most of us are in small business, and you are the face of your business, whether you like it or not. So make sure your face stands out.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that. And have a memorable brand. Now, I just had a photo shoot done recently with a beautiful lady called Vanessa. And we did some photos actually where I was wearing a crown and I had a wand doing the whole media queen thing, which I actually haven't got any of those shots out there, but we had a whole lot of fun with it. And so soon you'll be seeing these new photos that I've just had done, which do stand out, and they cover the brand. It's about putting yourself out there, etc. So I think that's important too, is to be brazen with what you're putting out there. And, be brave. And obviously, you want to have a sense of that you feel comfortable in that, but you don't want to be too comfortable where you're sitting in your comfort zone all the time as well. You want to, push yourself out of your comfort zone ideally so that you grow, because there's no growth inside the comfort zone, right?
Absolutely.
And Jeff says that they can't ignore the shirts. Absolutely, Jeff. Definitely can't ignore the shirts. And I was going to say, if you do take your shirt off, it might work well on the dating profiles. Although now you're in a relationship, none of that business. None of that business here on this show.
I think that's the wrong dating site.
Jeff says some of his tips: hire a guru. That's a simple, easy marketing method to make more money. Hire a guru. Well, that's right. If you're not good at this stuff, just get someone like Nick on board and his amazing team. from SmashGo that can help you with all this stuff. Test and measure often, Jeff, absolutely. Test and measure is really, really crucial. And, keep building that personal brand with, look, I don't think you need to spend money on advertising personally. You can get a lot of organic marketing and a lot of organic traffic without spending a cent on advertising. Although in saying that, Facebook has changed dramatically, and it keeps changing to become very much a pay-to-play platform. And this is why a lot of people are getting very frustrated with Facebook, and they're going to places like LinkedIn and other places to share their message. However, at the same time, you need to go where your ideal clients are hanging out, and so you don't need to be on all the social media channels. However, TikTok, if you are going to advertise, TikTok has got some really good rates on advertising, and TikTok's already got 1 billion active users on there in just a few years. It's insane. A lot of people making really good money on TikTok just doing short videos and reels, etc. So I think all of that is really important to really look at, who is your ideal client, where are they hanging out on the socials, what kind of stuff is going to be a benefit to them, and there's a formula there like give, and then sell. So if you give lots of good value and then offer something to your clients, and remember that only 3% of any people that you come across for the first time are actually going to want your service then and there. But the idea.
Can I just add to that Aldwyn? It's like that's a formula that has been around for quite a while. What people often miss in the sell part of it is often they go in for the jugular, in for the kill, for the sale. So that's sort of jab, sort of punch, and sort of fatty stuff, that sort of thing. Yep. What you want to do is think about your customer's journey, and you think about what is the immediate problem or issue that they've got right in front of them right now. So, and often it's not to buy what it is that you're selling, but you think about on the journey to buy what it is that you sell. So you might have the solution for them. They just don't know that yet. But what's the immediate sort of issue or problem they've got in front of them right now? And so a probably good example I use for that is, let's say, real estate agents.
Yes.
So, people are out there looking to buy a house. If they're looking to buy a house, they're not going to buy a house straight off the bat when they decide they're going to do it. What's the next thing they're going to do? Well, they might do some things like browsing through some properties on realestate.com, but they're not just browsing aimlessly. They're looking at, well, how many bedrooms do I need? How many bathrooms do I need? What sort of area? So those are the immediate problems that they've got in front of them, is thinking about what location do I want to start in? I'm not ready to buy until I know what location I want to start in. So then you think, well, how can I help them to make some decisions about the location that's going to be best for them? How can I solve that problem first of all? And then once they start to think about that sort of location, it's like, well, okay, so I've got the location. Who's a good agent out there? Who should I go with? What company should I go with? And so that's their next immediate issue. So you think about, well, how do you help people to make a decision on who's the best person to go with? Now, you might be the best person. They don't know this yet. But if you become the person that helps them to make a decision on who the best person is to go with, then it's almost this meta thing there where they think, well, you've helped me, so maybe you're the best person. So, it's almost like you're helping them without an agenda. So, and it really is helping them to solve the issue that's in front of them right now, not the issue down the track. So if you think about 3% of people are ready to buy right now, they're going to buy regardless anyway. So you don't actually need to focus on them at all, because they're ready to buy. They're going to buy. They're going to spend their money.
Yep.
If you focus on the 97% and think about how can I sort of progress them to the next stage, it might be a longer cycle, but you're going to make more sales at the end of the day. You're going to develop more trust because you're helping people in non-financial transactions. Everything's a transaction, but help people in the non-financial transactions first, and then the financial transaction becomes really easy. But if we go back to your dating exercise there, what is the major transaction there? Well, there's probably a couple there: get you into bed and or get married. Those are two significant transactions, right? So and when you meet someone for the first time, you're not going, well, you might have those transactions in your mind, but generally, to get to that sort of transaction, it's like, what's their immediate need at the moment? Well, do I look good? um,
Yes.
is my breath smell?
Yeah.
I'm on social media. Do I look like a geek or an idiot, or do I actually look like someone that is attractive? So it's like it's those little things that are the immediates of insecurities and problems and whatever people have. So if you help them feel good about themselves in the smaller transactions, the major transactions just fall into place and they just come easy. So business is exactly the same, and and so if I go back to that example about on your, sort of on your website, not most people, I see a lot of people trying to sell from their website. It's the wrong move. Unless you've got an e-commerce site, and an e-commerce site is only catering really to that 3% that are ready to buy, even though you've got 97% of people coming on to do their research anyway. But think about, rather than selling your stuff, think about how can I help people on the next small step in their journey. If you do that there and you help, and so they will give you their email address in exchange for something that's going to help them solve what I call a micro issue or micro problem today. Then once they've solved that and you've demonstrated with the information you've given them that they've been able to use it to solve it, their level of trust goes up a notch, because I think this person sold me. He hasn't asked me for anything, or she hasn't asked me for anything apart from my email address. I've actually got what they've promised. And then you send them out another email or whatever it is to help them with the next issue, because you know what the next issue is they've got. Now they start to think, well, and you know this because you deal with people like them all the time. So now they think, oh, not only has this person helped me with a small issue that I've had, they've preempted what my next one is, and they give me a solution for it just as I'm starting to think about it. This person's really good. And then you keep doing that, so that once they get to the point of something like, look, if you'd like to have a conversation about this further, more than happy for you to book in a time when I'm free in my diary or my schedule. Come and have a conversation. I'm going to help you. It really lowers the guard, because they think, well, I haven't been pitched this whole period of time. I don't feel like this person's just going to come in and pitch me. It's been sort of they've helped me a lot. And, it's going to be by so. And so eventually it just gets to the point where people say things like, how can I, what's my next steps? Or how can I take it further with you? Or just shut up and take my money, as the ad says. So you get those sort of situations. So no longer are you feel like the sleazy salesperson that's trying to pitch and sell and get people across the line. Now what happens is you change the equation so that people are saying, well, how do I sort of do business with you? How do I spend money with you? So what's the next step? And that's a far easier conversation to have, rather than feeling like you're pulling people or pushing people to to take action with you.
Yes, totally love that. Sales is service. And that's the thing too, is actually do you have some blockages around making money? Do you have blockages around sales? Because, no transformation happens until the sale happens, right? And that is in offering someone something that is actually going to be good for them. If it's not going to be good for them, if you're not the right person to be delivering that service, then refer them to someone who will do that. And I think, that's the biggest thing, is actually to show that you care about people and you're giving them helpful advice, and being like the doctor of marketing. You're analyzing, you're examining what the issue is, and then you give a solution, and the solution may not always be you, right? And that's the thing. And this is where a lot of people have this idea that salespeople are con people, and that's because we've seen a lot of that over the years. We've seen definitely a lot of con artists over the years, and in fact, we've even more through COVID, a lot of con artists. And so people think, well, who can I trust? And they're going to trust people who actually really care about them, and not just there to make the sale, but to actually deliver what that person really needs, to actually solve the problems, as you say. What are the immediate problems that person has, and how can you help them? And I'm constantly thinking, when people tell me things, I say, I need this person. Like right now, I've just taken on 2 VAs with a company, and I've got 3 people immediately that I know need VAs, and so I've referred them immediately to this company to have a chat and see where that goes. And I'm not attached to whether they buy through that company or through another company, but at least it gives them an option to consider that. And so always, how can you be of service? to your clients. And that it comes with really understanding your clients and actually making the time to chat with them and having those consultations, whether it's you or someone in your team, and having a system for capturing that kind of information as well, I think is really crucial. Now, you were saying earlier about, speak your truth. And I love the saying that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I think now more than ever is people are looking for leaders who are willing to speak their mind. And as you say, if you're wishy-washy with how you're coming across with what you're saying in the mass media and what you're saying to your clients and what you're putting out on your online marketing, if you're wishy-washy with all of that, if you're not prepared to be like the purple cow, like the Seth Godin book, right, is actually, not prepared to stand out and speak your truth, then you're going to potentially be one of the people who is going to be on your deathbed one day and be, living with regrets and thinking, gee, I wish I'd done more with my life, as the number one regret of the dying. And so I think really getting very clear on what it is you want to achieve with your business, with your marketing. What is the main goal of your marketing? And is it a message you want to promote? Is it a product? Is it a service? Some people are very driven by causes, right? So they really want to shift. Like for me, I'm a very passionate animal lover. So for me, is a very strong message there about being humane, about awareness, appreciation, and respect for animals with the animal action work I do. And with my media work, it's about inspiring truth and good news. And so we have Media Queen TV, we have Total Truth Show, which is very controversial. We know it's controversial because YouTube have not liked some of our episodes that we've done. One episode, The Truth of What's Really Going On in the World, they gave it a strike because they said it went against their community standards. Isn't that interesting? Why wouldn't they want a show like that out there? So we've now got that up on BitChute. We've got up on Rumble. So thank goodness for all the alternative media, the truth media, the freedom of information media, and whatever your opinions on anything going on in the world, I do encourage you to question everything. Having worked in the media, one of the most powerful marketing tools is the mass media, right? Having worked in traditional media, in TV, radio, and print, I've seen the media programming firsthand, and I'm speaking up about it, and not many people do. Not many people talk up about it. So many people live in fear. So just notice, are you living in fear in any way right now, or are you coming from a place of love, of being of service, etc.? And I think if we don't speak our truth, then we are doing people a disservice with our message. And I think we've gone through the challenges we've gone through. I think everyone goes through the challenges they go through for a reason. And, everything happens for you, not to you, right? So just notice if you're being the victim of your circumstances right now, what are your thoughts around marketing right now? Let us know, for those watching us, what are your thoughts around marketing? Is marketing easy for you, or is it hard? And how much of that is going on in your own head, and how much of that is actually the case? Because as much as some things may be challenging for you, for other people, it's actually very easy, right? So actually, this mindset that goes with marketing, I think, is also critically important. What are your thoughts, Nick, around the mindset around marketing?
So that is really interesting, because I had a client just the other day who said to me, "Oh, I hate all this marketing stuff. It's just so hard. I just want to, sort of get there and make the sale." So, there's all of this magic around, the sale and getting a new client and customer on board. And that is like instant gratification when that happens. Marketing is like delayed gratification. If we go back with our dating analogy again, marketing is foreplay. The sale there is a very short wham bam, thank you, ma'am, sort of end of the equation, so to speak.
Which is very satisfying unless there's some follow up, right?
Well, that's right.
One night stands don't do it for me.
So so there are some people there that are happy to pay for the end result there. And that's where you've got your telemarketers and all that sort of thing. They're just sort of in and sort of crunch people, whatever. And that's your cold calling as well. So, cold calling, expect a lot of no's to get to the yes. But marketing is it's one of those things that it takes time to finesse, and to really so have people get to know you and whatever. So it's not an instant thing, and I think that's why people hate it so much. Is it feels like it takes such a long time. Reality is it doesn't take a long time. but it can take a long time. And so, you know, when you're married for a long time, or generally you're married for a long time. So, you know, it is a sort of a long period of time. Marketing's the same sort of thing. You know, you start off and then you keep building and building and building and building. The only difference between marketing and marriage is that, you know, with marketing, you're going to have lots of marriages, whereas sort of traditional marriage is just the one or two, you know. But you have to invest the time. But the good thing about marketing is that once you've got it set up, it just keeps going. So you don't have to keep reinventing it. But a sale, you have to keep making a sale every time. So, you know, the transactional side of things keeps happening. But, you know, you can invest that time in marketing, and, you know, once you've got an automated system all up and running, then all you have to do is deal with the people that are coming in. You're not chasing them. They're coming in now and asking you, what's next? You know, how do I get to the next phase? Not only is, you know, you're dealing with more of these transactional side of things and taking them, you know, to the next phase, which is where they're paying you money. You're not chasing them. Because your marketing's done all of that work. So it's made your life easier. So rather than feeling like you're pushing something on or trying to pull people through a door, it's already happened. Your marketing just does all that in the background. And you can refine your marketing, and you can sort of start to make it easier and simpler, and really sort of nail down on what people's issues are to help solve these small micro issues on the way through. And you can do all of that. A lot of that can happen automatically. So, and it really just makes business easy. The side effect of it all is that you're not having to struggle with, look, I've got a slow month this month. You know, you generally, if you've got good marketing set up, your slow months are going to be better than people's busy months when they don't have good marketing systems set up. So, and your slumps are going to be higher than other people's slumps, you know, with good marketing in place. And so I think, you know, in order to have good relationships with your clients, you need to invest, you know, so a lot more time in marketing. When I'm saying that, you need to invest 5 times more in your marketing than you do in your sales end of things. So, but you only have to often do it once and just keep going back to revisit it. Fred says it's called a CRM. Absolutely. And that there is what most people miss in their marketing, is having a CRM. They think the website's important. If I don't have a website, my business doesn't exist. But they forget that the invisible part of this is their CRM. And that's where that connects to your website. And that's what takes your email addresses out when people subscribe. That's what sends these automated messages. That's your marketing. Yes, it can take you a long time to craft these messages. That's where ChatGPT can come in and help. So you can get the basics all done with ChatGPT, so you're not stuck with a blank page in terms of what do you write. And then all you're doing is you're testing and tweaking and whatever. Now, the thing about emails is people have said to me that, well, emails don't work. No one reads emails these days. And yes, that can be true. But what they do read before they delete your email is your name. So yes, in order to work out whether to make a decision whether to delete it or not, they're reading your name. So if you keep emailing every day, your name is front and center of them every day, because they're looking at a ticket to delete it. And so they might not delete it all the time. They might open 1 or 2 of them as well. But you know, you really want to be, you know, front and present in front of people. Now, I'm not saying you just spam and email people every day, but that's the principle there. It does not matter whether they read your emails or not. What matters is that they see you regularly. And it's a bit like, you know, if you're going to a networking event, you keep on seeing the same person there over and over again. What happens there at some point, you even though you may never have spoken to them, you feel like you know them because you keep seeing them. And so your email and marketing communications are the same. And at some point, you're going to go up to them and introduce yourself. Now, I had this experience just the other day where someone turned up to the networking meeting. I didn't know who they were. I'd never met them before. And I said, oh, look, I don't know you, but my name's Nick Cree. And she said to me, oh, I know you. And the reason why she's saying that is she's seen me pop up
Yes.
all the time. So,
Yes.
and this is not in an email box. This is on social media. I'm all over the place on social media. I just keep popping up on people's feeds, and they can't ignore me.
Yes.
But it develops that familiarity, and it drops people's guards. And because they see you so much, they start to develop trust in you, even though they've never spoken to you or know anything sort of about you apart from what you've done and appeared on social media. And so people sort of often say, well, what do I post on social media? I say, your life.
Yes.
So don't
Yes,
post. Yeah, you don't have to post anything about your business. Yes, it's good to post stuff about your business, but post your life. And
Yes.
you know what's really the things that are most memorable for people, for me on social media, has been my journey at the gym. So all the time I get people to sort of comment, about my journey at the gym, because I used to post, at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I'd just come out of the gym, I'd post, sweaty mess, towel hanging over me, whatever. So it's that there. But people remember that sort of stuff. They don't remember that I build websites, but they remember my journey at the gym. And so, but what that does is it invites a conversation of, well, what do you do? What else do you do?
Yes.
But they already feel like they know my values, who I am, who I stand for, because I share part of my life in there. So if you're not prepared to share your life, then it's going to be difficult for you in business, because people do business with people they know, people they like, and people they trust. And I think there's only 2 industries where they inherently don't trust you or don't like you, and they'll still do business with you. One of them is the drugs trade, and the other one's the arms trade. Everybody else, unless you're in that there, they need to trust you and like you.
Oh, I love it. So much gold in what you're sharing. Unbelievable. Now, Fred says his attitude to marketing, we asked earlier, do you find it easy? Do you find it hard? Let us know. He loves it. It's what I do, he says, Fred, and really it does become part of what you do, constantly. Everything we're doing is marketing in some way, right? Whether it's, even talking to your partner about which restaurant you want to go to, one of you becomes the winner in that, right?
That's marketing both ways, isn't it?
It's marketing both ways. We've got Ken Kleinberg, amazing co-host on Total Truth Show. 2 amazing people with an amazing message. Thank you, Ken. Love your work. And Fred says here, 80% prospecting, 20% delivery. Absolutely. The quickies at the end of the day are never satisfying. We all want a happy ending. Right, we all want a happy ending, and the thing is, how can you get your client to that happy ending, right? Whatever that is for them. And I love how you say share your life. I've been sharing about my dating journey on my,
Yes, you have.
Oh my God. And the other day I was actually sitting at the Southport Surf Lifesaving Club having lunch, and a complete stranger came up to me and said, "Hi, you're Aldwyn, aren't you? I've been following you on social media for years. Great to see you. I just thought I'd come and say hello in person." I thought, oh, that's so sweet. I had no idea who this person was. And this is the thing, you just never know who is going to be watching your stuff and who is stalking you online. Now, the trap is be very careful with the dating stuff, because what also happened is now I've had a whole lot of private messages, people inviting me out on dates, people in India wanting to marry me, all that kind of stuff. So, that can happen. However, you really need to, field out the dodgy ones from the good ones.
But doesn't that just illustrate it so well? And that you're spoilt for choice now. So rather than you having to go out and choose a partner, you've got all of these ones sort of coming to you. No,
yes.
Don't like that one. No, not doing business for you. Not you. Oh, you're all right. I'll do business with you. Hang on. I'll just put you to the side, because I've seen someone else here as well too. And that's much more enjoyable way to do business, rather than feeling like you're on the back foot and chasing others.
Exactly. And it's good for women to step back a bit. Apparently, I've been doing some work on my feminine, masculine, all that stuff. So it's very masculine to hunt, right? The guys love to hunt the girls, right? And in the past, I've had a little bit of a masculine thing going on where I've hunted the guys and probably pushed them away. Particularly, a girlfriend has said to me once, when I was kind of really serious about the baby thing, she said, "Aldwyn, don't mention babies on the first date." And so, being a hormonal 40-something-year-old, I would say, okay, then I'll mention babies before the first date. No, that's not a good idea. Okay, so don't do that if you're in the online space. But anyway, this could be a whole other marketing strategy around how to find your ideal mate. Well, it's a journey and it's in process still because I'm still single. However, I have been on some lovely dates lately, and so stay tuned. You just never know what may happen. We're all looking for love in some ways, aren't we? And it's very important. My girlfriend said to me that, all the love you have for others is also there for you. And now this is a very important topic with marketing, because if you don't love yourself and feel that you have some self-worth, something great to share, then you're not going to share it. And so really doing that personal development work, I think, is really, really crucial as well to take your life and your business to the next level, and enjoying the journey. Ken says, great stuff here, you guys. Great tips. Thank you, Ken. Now, Ken hears all the juicy stuff behind the scenes when we do our Total Truth show. In fact, we've got a great show coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned on that, on Total Truth show. Dennis is here on Facebook. Hey, you two, great to see you both online. Keep up your awesomeness. Oh, thank you, Dennis. That's very sweet.
Dennis is from Auckland in New Zealand.
Welcome from Auckland.
A leadership coach over there.
Oh, brilliant, Dennis. Thank you so much for your lovely comments. And this is the thing, we've got a lot of lovers here on our chat, a lot of people that love what we do. And I'm sure there's people that hate what we do too. And this is the thing, is also building your resilience around that. As you say, the more you stand for something, the more that people are going to love you or people are going to hate you. It's like the yin yang of life. And so really building that resilience in your life and in your business to really take your life to the next level and your business to the next level, I think is so crucial. And it is an ongoing journey. It's not like suddenly we do one course and we're all sorted, right? It's an ongoing journey. And in the marketing space, my gosh, there's so much that's continually popping up left, right, and center with apps, and AppSumo is a great place to go look for deals, etc. So much in the online world that you can get overwhelmed sometimes with all the different opportunities, all the different CRMs and all the different things you can do, the different lead magnets, and I think really test and measure was brought up today. I think test and measure is very important, and also putting out content that sits right with you and that you feel aligned with, I think, is really, really important. Being authentic. Authenticity, I believe, is the new currency. People are sick of all the BS. They're sick of all the lies and all of that stuff. Just be yourself, speak your truth, deliver your message in the best way you can. Point out your point of difference. Dennis says, so much noise. Where do you start? Yes, exactly, Dennis. So much noise. Where do you start? Well, I'll put that one over to you, Nick. Where do you start? We've given a lot of great tips already. Let's answer that one for Dennis.
Well, where do you start is with generally what's in front of you. So, you said there's a whole lot of apps and tools and processes and whatever out there. What the shiny object syndrome? Well, the key thing is to hop on a horse and stay the course. So you may not be on the best horse, but you're never going to finish the race unless you stay on the horse. And what happens is people hop off, they change horses, and this horse is running off into a different direction. And then they realize, oh, that's the wrong direction. So they hop off that horse and hop on another horse, and that takes them over here. And so what happens is that they end up, sort of running around in circles, not achieving anything. And while you might not have the best vehicle, because let's face it, we don't know which is going to be the best one anyway. The important thing is to stay on something until you get the results. Stay the course. Now, there are some times that the horse dies. So if the horse dies, hop off that horse and get onto another live horse. So if you find you're on a piece of tech there that really isn't going to be working for you, get off it and hop on another one. But most cases, most people don't even stay the course with what they've been told. Someone will say, here's a good strategy for you. You need to invest in, doing live videos on Facebook. So if you do live video, so if that's going to be your strategy, is doing live videos, doing 3 is not staying the course. You're never going to build a business with 3 live videos. But if you commit yourself to say, right, I'm going to show up every Tuesday at 10 a.m. in the morning, and I'm going to do that for at least 6 months, if not 12 months, and measure the results as I go along. I've been doing that for 6 years now. Every Tuesday, show up on social media, doing live video. Have a look through my Facebook feed. There are years worth of these live videos. Now, the thing about it is that they don't need to be good or perfect. They just need to be done. Because what's going to happen is it's not that you are a polished presenter. That's the important thing, is that it is that you show up and keep doing it consistently. It's a bit like, hopping into or you're sort of showing up in someone's inbox, people start seeing your name over and over again. So live videos they keep on seeing you pop up at the same time over and over and over and over again. So again, that breeds familiarity. Yes, it's good to have it's important to have a good message, but your message will develop and your delivery will develop the longer you do it. So if you keep doing it, you will get better at it. You will refine your message. Particularly with sort of things like video, what you'll find is that you'll do your video and think, oh, geez, that was pretty awful. That was crap. I was just all over the place here. It's like, what was I even thinking? Well, what was I saying, more to the point? And then what that'll do is it gives you critical thinking. It's like, well, next time I'm going to sort of narrow this down and refine it. So next time you do it, it's going to be better. And there'll be points that you think, oh, well, I could have done that better. And so you just keep refining it. So showing up day after day or week after week doing the sort of the live video on Facebook, if that's your strategy, it's more for you than it is for the people watching, because you get better at doing what you're doing. You get more clarity in your mind and in what you're doing, and you get more congruent with your delivery. And you talked about authenticity. That's where you become authentic in sort of, saying what you believe and delivering what you believe and delivering it with conviction. So that there's just doing sort of one strategy and staying the course for a period of time. Now, if you sort of stopped at 3 and said, oh, well, that didn't work, and then go and jump to, say, doing some SEO, and you do that for a month or two, think, well, that didn't work. So then you go and jump into a LinkedIn direct messaging strategy. And so what you find is that you've got all of these people that just jump into doing all these sort of different things. They never really get to the core of understanding exactly what they stand for, being able to communicate it well, and staying the course to really sort of develop that longevity with it. So a musician, to give some context to it all, a musician that's on stage in front of, I don't know, Suncorp Stadium. Who was there? Ed Sheeran was there not long ago. He is on that stage there, not because he is an exceptionally gifted or good musician. He may be. I don't know. I'm not really an Ed Sheeran sort of follower or whatever. He is there because he put in the time and the hours. He chose to become a singer, and he sang and he sang and he sang and he sang and he sang. Guarantee you, when he started, he was pretty average or pretty awful, but it's the fact that he kept on doing the same thing over and over and over and over again that got him to the point where he can stand in front of a crowd of people and rake in that millions of dollars. If he changed to be a drummer or a guitarist and then sort of a saxophone player and kept on changing horses along the course, he would probably still be playing in pubs, for sort of $1,000 a night. And a friend of mine who is a musician said, and I remember him negotiating with the owner of a pub, and the owner of the pub, I think, they charged $5,000 a night for their gig or whatever, and the pub owner wanted to knock him back down to $3,000. And so his name's Troy, and he said the pub owner, he said, how much money do you take across the till when we're playing? And so pub owner sort of gave him the number. And he said, how much do you normally take over the till?
I don't know what you mean by. I said, how much?
Hang on.
How about a web search for it?
Siri, stop. There you go. There's Siri interrupting me. Oh, my goodness. Turn off Siri next time. She never shuts up. But getting back to that story is that the owner of the pub took in thousands of dollars less in takings over the bar when they weren't playing, but when they were playing, it was worth thousands of dollars more. So that extra $2,000 that they were paying, which was more than some of the other bands, they got a return on investment of much greater than that $2,000 they spent. And it was much greater than having a lesser known band or musicians in there. And so Troy always got the $5,000 when he was negotiating. And then the next sentence that he said was really important too. He says, you're not paying for the 3 hours that we're playing for tonight. You're paying for all of the 20 years of practice that it took us to be this good to make you that money that you pull across the bar when we turn up on tonight. And so your marketing strategies are exactly the same thing. You need to be investing and investing and investing. And even when you feel like giving up, you keep persisting and going. You may not do exactly the same thing. You're always looking at tweaking and changing, but you've got to stay the course in order to get there to win the race. And so many businesses just don't do that. They swap from one thing to the other rather than becoming an expert in that one thing that they know is going to work. Or even if they don't know it's going to work, they keep persisting.
So true. And as Jeff says here, be consistent is key. And it's fascinating with the number of podcasts out there, looking at the stats with just podcasts and what's happening with the online media world. In 2018, there was only 500,000 podcasts. Now we're at a point where there is 2 to 3 million podcasts, and most of them don't have more than 3 episodes out. And I believe that the latest stats I saw was 44% have more than 10 episodes out of their podcast. So this is where, being consistent, being patient with your marketing is so important. And we have Tim here, Simple Easy Marketing, talking about my program again. He says, Tim and I are going to be chatting as well, and he's an expert in this space. You might want to reach out to Tim as well on marketing strategies. Good to see you there, Tim. And,
in fact, he's really good in that. He's really good in that area as well too. I've been on his podcast before. He runs an exceptional show, and that is his brand, Simple Easy Marketing.
Yeah, there you go, Tim. Good to see you here. And any other final strategies now, Nick? We've been chatting for over an hour, and I know you and I can chat. We can just keep on chatting. I would like to just wrap up shortly now because we have some other things coming up. So any other final tips on marketing and how we can make that easier for people moving forward?
Well, actually, Dennis, who is in chat there, has just given me the words and reminded me of one of my favorite sayings. And this came from my gym coach, and it is consistency beats intensity. So what the final tip is to be consistent in what you're doing, and so choose what you're doing and keep doing it on a consistent basis. And that's the opposite of what I see people do, is that they go for intensity, and so they haven't got any business, so they go for a good solid burst and really try to hammer out doing social media or paying for ads or going for a course, some marketing activity, and that's intensity. They put a lot of effort into a short period of time, and generally that fails. So at the gym, the people that succeed in the gym are not those that turn up every couple of weeks and then try and push as heavy a weight as they possibly can. It's the person that turns up to the gym every day and has moderate weights. They are always going to beat those that turn up sort of inconsistently. So it's exactly the same with your marketing. It should become a habit. It should be in your schedule, in your diary, getting things done, and is just to be consistent. Keep doing it, even when you don't feel like you want to, even when it gets hard, even when you're uncomfortable. Just keep persisting in doing it. So consistency beats intensity.
Yes, love that, Nick. Beautiful. And if people want to work with you, how can they find you?
Well, there's a couple of ways. One is if you Google my name, Nick Cree. I believe I appear on the first 6 pages of Google, so choose anything you like in there. But an easier way is to find me on my website, which is smashgo.co. So smashgo.co. And of course, you're welcome to come along to my weekly Business Owners Smashing It Online webinar. And you'll find that on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and just search Business Owners Smashing It Online, come and join the group. We announce all the webinars in there. Otherwise, the webinar is on easyurl.com/Bosio. So easyurl.co/BOSIO. And Bosio stands for Business Owners Smashing It Online.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. And thank you to all those who've watched today and who've been tuning in. Please let us know what were some gold nuggets you got today. What did you learn from today's show? Let us know in the comments there. We've popped all of Nick's details into the chat as well. Just search him. You'll find him everywhere, which really is the idea of marketing, to be out there and be front of mind when people think about you. A bit like more marketing ideas, Fred says. Thank you, Fred. Thank you so much. And for one way you can get yourself out there is actually to join a challenge. And we have the Global Good News Challenge every single month, a free challenge on social media where you can share gratitude and good news and be the change you wish to see in the world. If you're sick of all the negative news, this is one way you can make a change. And all the details on that are in the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. So I encourage you to check that out. Here is the actual link there, facebook.com/Good News Challenge. Every single month, we have a 4-day challenge going on for April right now. You can start anytime before the end of April, 4 consistent days in a row. And then May is 5 days. And for those who want to connect with me, you can find all my links here at linktree/Aldwyn, linktr.ee/Aldwyn. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining us. It's been awesome to have you, as always, on the show on Media Queen TV. And any final words before we wrap up here today?
Well, I think, we all go into business to create a lifestyle for ourselves. And unfortunately, so many business owners, their lifestyle is consumed by the business. So final words is to get your marketing under control, get some systems in place there so that it happens automatically, so that it does create a lifestyle for you, puts a smile on your face, and the business becomes something that serves you rather than you being a slave to your business.
Love that. Excellent. Yes, thank you so much. Totally agree with that. And Katie St. Clair's here. Thanks, Aldwyn and Nick. Only caught the last part. Loved it. Yes, the replay is up online. You'll see that after we end this broadcast. You'll see this up on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And big thanks to StreamYard for putting this amazing platform together that we can reach you all in the one go with this amazing technology. So grateful for technology. And thank you for those awesome tips, Nick. You are absolutely brilliant at what you do. And for those who want to check out Business Owners Smashing It Online, I highly recommend it. It is absolute gold. And I can't believe it's free, actually, Nick. It's really worth a lot of value. I would treat it like it's actually worth a lot going to these events. And so check out Business Owners Smashing It Online, 6 p.m. on a Tuesday night. We did Wednesday this week because of Anzac Day. However, every week it is 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time, Brisbane time. You can check that out. It goes for about an hour and a half. You can win a prize at the end. You get to introduce it yourself at the beginning as well, which is great free marketing for you as well. So I recommend to take that opportunity and also check out Nick's Canva course too. Can people join that, or are you doing another one of those, Nick?
We are doing another one, and actually it turned out to be an amazing course in that people have been able to create all of their collateral for that middle part, between the website and traffic, all that middle part, they've been able to create all of that on Canva. And we're just finishing that session. But if you want to join the next one, if you go to smashgo.co, you'll see a banner at the top there. Click on that. That'll take you through to the info on the next one, which will be in about 3 weeks' time.
Beautiful. Fantastic. So check it out. Connect with Nick online. Thank you so much once again, Nick. We like to finish up with a quote here, a quote of the day or a motto that you live by. Now, I've mentioned one of mine that I love, which is Gandhi's saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. What's a favourite quote or motto that you live by, Nick?
Oh, my favourite one is, I don't know who I'd attribute it to, maybe me. But it's always been, the answer is always yes. Your job is to find out how.
The answer is always yes. Your job is to find out how. I love that. Thank you so much, Nick. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for the great work you do. You consistently give so much value, and we love you so much. And thank you so much for those joining us as well. We love you too, sending you lots of love, and hope you have the most magnificent day or night wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you back again soon on Media Queen TV, and Total Truth Show tomorrow with my co-host Ken Kleinberg as well. You can check out the page on Facebook, Total Truth Show. We'd love to see you over there as well. Let us know in the meantime what you got from this show. Pop it in the comments. Share the love if you've loved what you've seen here today as well. That would be awesome. And we'll see you back again soon.